Hey guys, it's me, Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy. How are you doing today? Today we're going to talk about our favorite subject, which is sales. All right, we got a cool subject for ourselves today, so let's go ahead and dive right on into it. What is our cool subject for this beautiful Sunday? Our cool subject for today is, what is it? Selling. Do you really listen to your customers? What do you think? I said selling. Do you really listen to your customers? Okay, you might be asking yourself, what in the world's that got to do with sales? Well, I'll tell you what, I hope you're listening. Because, see, here's the deal. I've been in sales in one form of capacity since the 80s, and it took me a long time to learn this because I was always one of these very aggressive type salespersons. I was very excited, and I like to talk, and I like to talk sometimes a little bit too much. And unfortunately, I've also talked myself out of sales. Have you ever done that? Okay, I'm just asking. And our topic for today is selling. Do you really listen to your customers? And I'm going to tell you a secret, guys. If you have a customer, it can be over the phone, it can be in person, it can be Zoom, it could be almost any format. But if you've got a captive audience, that means love the one you're with. You got a customer to talk to. You are very fortunate. And see, if you have customers who are listening to you, give your presentation, and then they have a little bit of what they call a question. Maybe they want to ask questions about, who knows what they want to ask questions about. But if they are giving you questions to answer, it's a buying system. It's a buying signal. It's showing that, hey, these people are asking questions so they can figure out in their own minds, should I buy this product? And if they have some weird questions that are off the wall questions, sometimes that could be a question that if you answered it, could give you the capability to close a sale. And sometimes you may run into other situations where people are afraid to buy, but they want to buy and they're thinking about buying, and they're giving you these things called objections. And here's the thing. If a customer gives you objections and you're in the process of talking to them, they're trying to weigh out whether or not, should I make this investment? Should I make this purchase? Should I? And if you can overcome those objections, because hopefully you've practiced them, maybe you've talked to your management, you've talked to your other sales representatives, and you've practiced. You remember, if you practice your presentations, if you're a person who goes over the phone or business to business, door to door, or person to person, and you've practiced your presentation, and practice makes perfect, and good practice makes perfect. So what I'm sharing with you is, what are you doing with your time? Are you a person who goes to your selling haphazard? You don't think about what you're going to say. You just show up. I don't think so. Not if you are a good or a great salesperson. You're going to be one of those kind of people who is going to train. And if you need training, talk to your management. And literally, there are hundreds of different types of sales representatives on YouTube that you can look at, like Gary Lee Stanley, and you can get bits and pieces and nuggets of information. Because, in this day and age, everybody's got great selling videos, all kinds of good ones. But see, what I've learned over my selling career is I can pick up bits and pieces from everywhere. And if I listen, and if I write down stuff, I'm always writing down stuff, guys, all kinds of ideas. And sometimes I'll get a God flash moment where he'll give me an idea, and if I don't write it down, I'll lose it. And then there goes my topic for what I want to talk about. But our topic for today is selling. Are you really listening to your customers? See, I've learned over the years, if you listen to your customers, they will generally give you an idea of what's important to them, what you can use as a close in this regard. Because there's Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, and just some other great speakers, and they talk about when you listen to customers and you repeat back to them. Like I said, if you hear them talk about, can I get it in blue? Do you want it in blue? If they ask you a question, well, can I get this delivered next Sunday? Did you want to try to get it delivered next Sunday? If you quote back to the customer based on the question that they've given you, you have a sale. If they say, well, say for instance, can I go ahead and have this delivered in 2 weeks, or do I have to wait 3? Well, you give them an option. Did you want to go ahead and get it delivered in 2 weeks, or would 3 weeks be better for you? You know, I just love it. Don't get me wrong, guys. The more I learn about sales, you know, I love the good, the bad, the ugly, and the warts and all. You know, I've been doing this a long time, so I don't just talk about things that are not real. I talk about what it's really like to be a real salesman, because I'm a real salesperson, and I love to share things that I've learned. And one of the key things that I've been able to learn in my selling career is, Gary, you need to listen. Because sometimes we get excited about our product, we talk a little bit too much, and if you ever notice one of those kind of quiet kind of salespeople, they'll have some really good information, and then won't say a word. And you're like, what's wrong with this guy? He's actually listening. They're listening, and what they're doing is they're listening to the customer, and the customer, believe it or not, they want to be heard. Even if you don't close that sale, you have more of an opportunity to close a sale when you have a customer who shares what their interests are, what their opinions are. If they're asking questions, not objections, just asking questions, you have a better chance of selling. If you're getting objections, that means you have an engaged customer. And in their mind, they're trying to create value. And by you having this capability with a good ear to listen, I like to write down, if it's a tough question, I write it down and I say, well, listen, that's a really good question. I'll be honest with you, I don't know everything about everything, but what I will do is, because it's really important to you, I'm going to write that question down. And then you keep going forward, and I'll get back with you on this information. And see, sometimes it could be a smoke screen. A customer is asking questions and stuff because maybe they don't want nobody to sell them nothing, but they want to buy stuff. But if you've engaged this customer, and you can keep engaging this customer and have this customer keep talking, because the person who talks the most generally loses. So what I've learned now is I have this thing called a selling conversation. I'll talk to the customer, ask them some questions about, you know, their family right at the beginning, things, and what was the reason why you were thinking about possibly getting this, and then I'll listen to their answer. Well, you know, the reason why I wanted to get this particular insurance is because, you know, my uncle died, or my mom died, or grandma died, or whatever. And if you ask them questions, like, say, for instance, you're selling furniture, for instance, and you ask them, well, you know, they look at a piece of furniture, they're sitting on it, well, can I get this possibly in blue or black? And then you just repeat back to them, did you want to get it in blue or black? And if they say, yeah, sure we can. We could go ahead and you have all these different options. See, here's the key, guy. If you listen. That was one of the hardest things for me to learn as a salesperson, is to listen to my customer. I had the hardest time, and as I've matured, sorry about the quality of the video, but once I started listening to my customers, they would physically walk me through what they were wanting. It's like you knock on somebody's door, you're doing a cold call, and they say, well, what do you want? Well, I'm out here just bringing some information to you. Do you have a few minutes? Well, I really don't have a lot of time. Well, that's okay. I got a couple of minutes. Let me go ahead and go over this information with you. You know, the reason why we were out here today is because we have a lot of your neighbors who are investing and purchasing in the same product. Have you had any of your friends that you know of that may have bought one of these? And they'll say, well, maybe yes or no. And, you know, and do you know anything about it? Well, not really. So, well, that's what I'm here for, is just to give you some basic information and some insight. And then you say, well, you know, say, for instance, if you're selling insurance, is your date of birth the December the 23rd, 1964? Yes. Were you born in North Carolina? Yes. If they answer questions, and then you ask them questions, what were the reasons why you were thinking about investing in this? Because they might be coming to your store. They might be looking at whatever particular product. And if they ask questions of you as a salesperson, you might want to go ahead and say, you got a customer. You got buying signals. People who don't talk to you, who are very quiet, and if you ask for the order, did you want to go ahead and get that? And they hadn't really shared much about nothing, you might get a sale. But if you get a customer who will open up, who'll kind of let their hair down, and you can be friendly and nice, and they know that maybe you're not there to take advantage of them. They know that they want to purchase something. So our simple job is to have that simple conversation, ask good questions or great questions. We work on our role as a salesperson, and then when customers have questions, don't overtalk them. Listen to them. Just listen to them. Because I'm real good at that. Back in the day, man, I would talk over a customer, wouldn't give them a chance. Now, if they start going down a rabbit hole talking about a bunch of stuff that don't have nothing to do with what we're talking about, I will reel them back in and then get back on top. And I'll say, hey, listen, that's a really good question. Let me get back with you on that. And by the way, this one comes with this. This comes with this, and this is what this will do for you, and this is how much your investment will be, and we can have this delivered out there to Friday. Is Thursday better for you or Friday better for you? Or so what I'm sharing with you guys is, when you're talking to customers, just have a heart, okay? And remember, if they're talking too much, you got to reel them back in, get them back on track. But you got to remember this one thing: people want to buy stuff, but they love to buy stuff from people who have compassion, people who are listening to them, and who they see has their best interest at heart. So if you're out there selling stuff, guys, remember, if you'll just listen, customers will feel that you really care about them. Now, if you don't listen to them, they may purchase from you. But then again, how many more sales could you have got if you would have listened to the customer, share their opinions, share their feelings, and ask them, what do you think about this? And they'll open up. Because, see, once you got a customer who's engaged in something, they just need for you to ask for the order, but they want to be heard first. They don't want to be taken advantage of. So remember that when you're out there selling. My name is Gary Lee Stanley. I am your sales guy. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up, share my videos, and please smash that button and subscribe. I got a whole bunch of cool videos to talk about everything there is when it comes to selling. I mean, I got literally hundreds of great topics, so please go ahead and look at all the ones that you may be interested in. Remember, we take bits and pieces of nuggets. It's like, we're all out here trying to sell something. I don't care who you are, but the best salespeople that I've ever seen are the ones who care about their customers. They're the ones who listen to their customers and let the customers tell them what they want, and then they write it up. Okay, so go out there and sell something. But if you ain't asking for the order, you ain't selling. And my name is Gary Lee. We just had a great conversation about selling and listening to our customers. Let them tell us what they want, okay? And then write it up. All right. We're going to write up another sale because I'm listening, okay? All right.